Your body is going through so many changes while your baby's body is going through so many changes. It's actually insane. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to episode 2 of So You're Pregnant, What Now? Today, we're gonna be talking about some of those early changes your body is going through in another casual, chatty way. Once again, we've got 5 little lessons for you. So let's get into that. If you find yourself thinking, why does my body already feel different even though I look the same? This episode is for you. A lot of people, myself included before I was going through this, think that your body is gonna start feeling different when you look different. I don't know about you guys, maybe I was just extremely misinformed. However, I kind of thought that a lot of these pregnancy symptoms come with, other than nausea, I knew the nausea happened in the first trimester. I kind of thought they came with the territory of oh, your body's bigger, so you're more uncomfortable, it's harder to squeeze by with a belly, that type of stuff. No, girl. That's not how it really works. I hate to break it to you. Let's start with lesson number 1 for today, and that is, that's not a bump, it's just hormones. The early bloating. Let's talk about it. The belly can start to mess with your head. That little bump you see does not mean that you are showing because, well, your baby is literally about that big, so that could not be pushing your stomach out. It's actually the hormone shift. Here's what's happening. Your progesterone is slowing down your digestion right now, and your body is holding on to all kinds of extra fluids, which with that extra water retention makes you bloated. You can also end up with a tight belly due to gas and constipation. Sorry, just gonna tell you that because like I said, your digestion is changed. So that comes with the territory. So your belly can feel a little tight. It can poke out a little bit. It actually will probably go down a little bit and then it will come back as your baby actually is growing and taking up that space later on. But your uterus is still very small at this point because your baby's very small and doesn't need a lot of room. But your jeans can still feel tight. That doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It's just the hormone shift, okay? It's not fun sometimes, but just know it's okay, it's normal. Those hormones just show up and start working maybe before you're emotionally ready for them to. I just remember thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe my belly's already showing. You think people can tell I'm pregnant? No, you just look a tiny bit bloated and feel a little bit off your game. Lesson number 2, your baby starts looking like a baby shockingly fast. One of the craziest things about pregnancy is that even though your baby is literally about yay big at 9 weeks, that's the moment that I remember thinking about this specifically because that's when I went in for my first ultrasound. And that is around the time that your baby stops looking kind of like a alienish blob, already looking like a baby. Their head's gonna be a little bit bigger than their body, but they've already got these cute little arms and legs. And I remember seeing that ultrasound and just going, oh my goodness, that is a tiny little human that is already inside me with a future, will have hopes and dreams and things to accomplish, and who's relying on me to take care of my body in order to give them the best possible setup for their future. Obviously, there's nothing I can do to guarantee baby's health. However, there are things I can do to maybe increase baby's opportunities at health. If you get the opportunity to go to an early ultrasound, it is a beautiful thing. It takes this abstract notion of am I pregnant? And it makes it more of a reality. I actually, right before I got my ultrasound, had this crazy idea because they tested me again to make sure I was actually pregnant with a medical grade pregnancy test. And as I was sitting there waiting for the result to come back, I remember thinking am I crazy? Am I not actually pregnant? And it was kind of because you're still in that headspace of is this really happening? At least I was, and I'm willing to bet a lot of other people. But then to go from that feeling to within 30 minutes, seeing my baby on the screen and watching him squirm around, it was just a really surreal moment. And it was really special for me. And it's okay if you don't have an immediate bond or feel like you have this super intense connection, that's okay too. But I do think that it is fun to get to see that early ultrasound if you get the opportunity to, because like I said, it makes it less abstract. But if it takes your brain some time to catch up with the reality of what's going on and you haven't fully accepted that you're pregnant and what all that entails, that's okay too. I promise you will get there. Lesson number 3. relaxin, the hormone nobody tells you about. Relaxin's job is to loosen up your joints and ligaments for, yes, pregnancy, but ultimately for birth. What does this mean? It means your joints can be less stable, your balance can start to feel off, and the risk is it is much easier to overstretch or tweak something because you've got that relaxin hormone just raising up in levels in your body. So a part of the whole first trimester thing is you could also not feel like yourself because you're like, why on earth am I feeling a little bit clumsy right now? You didn't just suddenly forget how to walk. Your joints are just looser. That's why doctors will warn you to be a little bit extra cautious during this time. For me, I did a lot of biking in the first trimester because it was the summertime for me. And while I was extremely nauseous during that time, I really wanted to get out there, get some time with my husband, time in the sunshine, and I was doing okay. I just had to have, like I said in the first episode, my little pouch of cookies. I had to have them, otherwise I wouldn't have survived. I would have been throwing up. However, as I continued to put on weight, my midwives became a little bit more concerned about my ability to remain stable on said bike because the relaxin hormone can mess with your balance, which you know you have to have balance on a bike. So just something to be mindful of. And also the major thing that now I'm experiencing with it, although I am a little less stable, is to be careful about your stretches and to make sure you're not overstretching. Now is not the time to be trying to go for that middle split, okay? If you're feeling pain, most people know how a stretch is supposed to feel. It's supposed to feel good. You shouldn't be feeling a lot of pain. This is not the time to try, like I said, to get more flexible. Your joints are already relaxing and you don't want to overstretch and tear something. It would be very, very unfortunate to be going into labor with an injury on top of everything. So just be very mindful trying to listen to your body during this time, especially when it comes to your stretches. That doesn't mean don't stretch. Pelvic floor stretches in particular, I've been doing them a lot. There's also like other stretches that you can do, lots of videos here on YouTube where you can find lots of experts with great tutorials on stretches in each trimester or for all trimesters or to prepare for labor, all that stuff. Just listen to your body and don't overdo it. Lesson number 4, lower back pressure is unfortunately normal. This is something else that you don't really expect to happen early, but it can for some people. Even before your belly is fully popping out, your posture can start to shift again because of those relaxin hormones. And if you are gaining weight, you may be heavier than you've ever been, which also puts more pressure compacted on that lower back. Why is this happening? Well, your center of gravity is subtly changing. Your core muscles are starting to adapt, probably looser, because your abs are going to, instead of be neatly tucked like this, going to be growing and separating. So there is less support there. And of course, your ligaments are loosening. So your poor back is not exactly having the greatest support system right now. So if your lower back is already feeling a little bit tight, a little bit sore, you've probably not actually done anything wrong unless you know specifically that you worked out too hard or that you have sustained an actual injury. That obviously could happen. But if none of that has happened and it just seems like it's suddenly come on, it's normal, nothing to be concerned about. Always ask your healthcare provider, of course, if you have concerns. I have wonderful midwives who are great and they love to answer my questions. At least they act like they do. Ask those questions if it makes you feel better, but just know, probably nothing wrong. Your body is just quietly re-engineering itself. Now, this doesn't mean this is necessarily going to happen to you. Something to keep in mind, everybody is different. Every mother is different and every pregnancy is different. My pregnancy next time could be totally different than this time. For me, I did go through some of the lower back pain a little bit in the second trimester, but mostly early third trimester. I really started to feel it. But what was able to help was YouTube tutorials on like how to relieve back pain through stretches. And once I started doing that consistently a couple of times a week, I've not really had that problem anymore. So I highly, highly recommend doing that. Okay, lesson number 5. The pregnancy waddle can start way sooner also than you think it should. Let's talk about walking the walk, shall we? A lot of people think the waddle comes in with the third trimester. And why wouldn't it? Now, all of a sudden, you've got this big old belly. You'd think, that's what's pushing your legs apart, right? It's kind of like things are in the way. They've all shifted. You're about to get ready to give birth. And so of course you're, probably going to be waddling around like a penguin. And while that is the case, and while I am halfway through the 3rd trimester, I'm 35 weeks pregnant today. Woo, woo. It can also start way sooner than you think it should. And this did in fact happen for me. Here's why that could be happening. Your hips, once again, are looser and you're starting to get that turnout. Your posture is starting to subtly change again, like we said, and those balance adjustments. But really the thing is, if you've noticed that you're kind of standing different, that you're moving slower, maybe your balance is a little off. Sorry if this seems repetitive. I feel like all these things kind of go together, but they are kind of separate things. So I also have separated them, if that makes sense. Hopefully you're tracking with me. You're not weak. Your body's just adapting. I noticed myself, I have a core memory of me walking down the hallway, being like, why am I waddling? My husband and I kind of laughing about it because I'm like, why am I walking like I'm like a super pregnant lady when I don't even look like pregnant? And I really just personally feel like I could feel my hips going from like this to kind of turning out like this. And that's why it kind of feels like a waddle. It's like they've widened to get ready again for birth. So I just wanted to share that because I felt crazy when it happened to me because I was like, excuse me, why am I waddling like this already? And I don't want you to go through the same thing. So just know we're all in this together. Okay, let's sum up. Your body's not overreacting. It's just preparing. Even when these changes feel like they're early and pointless, they're not. They are for a good purpose. Trust me, you can do it. You are strong and your body knows what it's doing. So you can trust the process. If you like this video, maybe give us a like, subscribe maybe so you can catch follow-up episodes, and comment down below how many of these 5 symptoms-ish, I don't know, I guess one of them's not symptom, one of them was talking about the baby, but tell me what symptoms you're currently experiencing because it really is like a buffet. Like you could have a buffet there and everybody would pick something different. That's kind of how our bodies seem to react to pregnancy as women individually. Isn't that fun? All right, that's all I have for you. I will catch you guys in my next one. Mwah! Bye.